at the KSMO studios, your hometown radio station. You're good right there, sir. My name is Stan Stevens. Glad to be with you on a Tuesday morning, the 24th day of September. And I have Richard LeBrash with me. We're going to talk a little bit about the Heroes Marathon and a new entry of the new not the new Heroes Marathon, but the 2024 edition of the Heroes Marathon. It's called Ghost Runners. And we hope that you'll be intrigued by this. And I'm glad, first off, to have you in, sir. Good to always have you.
Thank you, Stan. I always have appreciated your support of the marathon. This is our 9th year running the Heroes Marathon. We started in 2016. We have a complete focus on veterans.
Right.
All monies raised goes to veteran organizations, our VFWs, our American Legion, our DAVs. Mm-hmm. We support the Veterans Home in St. James for needs that the VA doesn't provide.
Right.
And so all the money we raise goes directly to veterans. And the reason we can do that is because we have an incredible group of volunteers that have come together to form a committee. And each year they dedicate themselves from the day after the race until the next race to putting this thing together. It's really an interesting work to see done with people with totally different interests come together to support something.
It's one of the largest marathons that I know of that's dedicated to just the veterans' cause. I'm not sure of another one that's any bigger. I've heard of a couple others that also are for veterans. But, Richard, this one has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And, of course, you can do it in person. You can do the marathons. You can also do them virtually. And we're going to talk a little bit about something else that help sponsor our great veterans that have sacrificed so much for us to keep our freedoms.
All right, Stan, you're right. We have the only marathon that I'm aware of in southern Missouri. And by the way, last year we had over 600 participants. So we are growing in numbers, but we're the only marathon completely focused on veterans. Right. No other causes. Veterans and generally local veterans. Right. So we are affiliated with VFWs in 2 other counties. Mm-hmm. So we actually work in a 3-county area now, and we hope in the future to expand that. But the volunteers are the reason it happens. And our causes, since we started in 2016, we raised over $125,000.
That's fantastic.
And distributed these monies to veterans organizations. Now, these monies came from fees paid by people to come from all over the country, 29 states and 3 mm-hmm. foreign countries. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And the runner community is so closely knit.
Right.
And we get feedback. What a beautiful marathon. We never saw anything like this. Everybody was so helpful. So we're really proud of what we've been able to put together, Stan.
You talk about the volunteers, and there are, oh my gosh, I hate to try and even number how many volunteers there are, but you have to get a lot of assistance from MoDOT, the Highway Patrol, sheriff's departments, police departments. You got Commons, Lions Club Park, a lot of different things. So many different volunteers in all aspects of those areas, not just the runners that come in and do it, the sponsors that help put things together, the free dinner when you sign up, that's down there at the community center at the Armory. There is so much that goes into this. And as you say, those volunteers don't start in June for the November marathon. They start the day after that marathon for the next marathon, trying to get feedback as quickly as they can so that the next year, whatever issues that somebody may have had, they're all worked out long before it ever gets started again.
Well, thank you, Stan. I'm glad to say that we usually don't have many issues.
No.
I cannot believe how smoothly. Give you an example. We had one year we couldn't get enough buses. The people we get our buses, it just couldn't happen. They just couldn't make it happen. And we came to the local churches and said, we need some buses to bring people from Rolla to Salem.
Right.
And one of our local churches stepped up and filled the hole. The marathon would not have happened without the community coming to the call. So we appreciate our sponsors so much, and they never fail to support. They believe what they're paying their money to sponsorship, they believe in what we're doing.
And there's a number of different races people can run. Everybody says, well, it's a marathon. I don't want to run that far. You don't have to run that far. You can run a full marathon if you want to. You can run a half marathon. They even have marathon relays if you want to run that. Or you can just run the course at Lions Club Park and over to the Memorial Veterans Park.
I think you got it pretty nailed down there, Stan. we have the full marathon.
Sure.
We have the half marathon. There is a team relay.
Right.
And then there's also people that run the 5K or walk the 5K.
Mm-hmm.
These events are not required to be run. They are walked.
Sure.
And the people that run the half marathon and the full marathon, they're qualified for the Boston Marathon.
Right.
We qualify now because our course has been certified to that degree. So, yeah, it comes off pretty smoothly, and it kind of surprises you. And our good friends up here, I don't know if I can say the name.
Go ahead.
Current River Kitchens has been awesome. They have cooked the food for the last 3 years. I believe I'm right in that. And they make a fabulous pasta dinner. Our runners love it. And this year, Stan, as our guest speaker, we're going to have a man that's put 100,000 miles in marathon, and he's not as old as you are.
Wow.
That's 4 times around the Earth.
Yeah.
The Earth is 25,000 miles around. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is.
But he's going to be here as one of our speakers, and we've got some other guest speakers coming that are going to be surprising. The bigger this gets, the more attention it gets.
Sure.
And we've been fortunate to have the lieutenant governor come down each year. And so I would say that we have made a tremendous inroad into the running community. And we get people that can run, but we got a lot of people that can't run.
Right.
I couldn't run from here back to where I parked my car if I had to. But we have events that you can run virtually. What does that mean? That means you're giving your commitment, your honor,
Right.
that you will execute this number of miles, whatever it is you say it is.
Right.
You're going to, on your honor, you're going to say, I've done this, and we're going to allow you to complete that virtual. It's a wonderful way for people to do things that can't get out.
I can't make it here for that day.
Right, or couldn't be here for that day.
Right.
So we also have something called the Honor Walk. Mm-hmm. Around the park, in the Lions Club Park, they have a beautiful lake. It's not a big walk around it, but you take the Honor Walk, and what you'll see is pictures of veterans that people have actually bought signs and put there, and you can get one of these
Sure.
if you like from calling the marathon.
Right.
But you walk around, you see all these heroes from different times in history. Well, that was kind of the inspiration for the next category we're going to talk about, which is ghost runners.
Okay.
You know, we have a form that we use for ghost runners, and someone might say, what is a ghost runner? How do you get a ghost runner? Well, we believe that we need to connect to the community more directly. And being a veterans advocate for about 25 years around here, I know that almost every family you talk to has some veteran that served in their family.
Absolutely.
And has gone on. So as we saw this group of people taking off in this 5K, it just impressed upon us that, yes, they're running to honor the veterans that they honor now, but they couldn't do that if it wasn't for the veterans that went before.
Exactly.
So the idea of the ghost runner is this. We have developed signing locations all throughout Salem. I'll tell you where they're at here in a minute.
Okay.
But when you go to one of these signing locations, you'll see a sign that says, honor your veteran here. And then you'll see a form called the Ghost Runners Brigade. And you put your name down as a sponsor, and the donation is considered $20 each. And you put your veteran's name, his branch of service, and his rank if you know it. It's not really required, but if you know it. And then on race day, a combat veteran will speak that veteran's name in memoriam. And then they'll appear in our race brochure as members of the Ghost Runners Brigade. I think it's a beautiful sentiment and expression of love and support for our veterans that have gone on.
They never stop running. Our veterans never stop serving, even after they have passed, because without them, their heritage continues in the next generation. And Richard, that's what we have seen with the Heroes Marathon. We have seen that passed on. If, just as you mentioned, virtually every family in Dane County has had a member of their family serve in some form of the military. Could be Navy, Army, Marines, whatever. And here's the neat thing about that. Everybody is linked together by that single denomination of serving our area, our nation, serving. And maybe they never went overseas. Maybe they stayed stateside, but they still had a purpose in doing what they did. No matter what it might be. I don't care if you're a cook. I don't care if you're a supply clerk or if you're on the front line. If you are part of the team, you're part of the team. And I think that's what people don't understand. You know, everybody has to work together to make a team. The United States military is the biggest team we have. The team that supports us and the team that protects us from the invasion of our enemies. And when I look at it like this. Every one of these people that comes out and supports this in the Heroes Marathon are another hero.
I'd have to say you're exactly right, Stan, and I'm glad you brought up the idea of the veterans continue to support. One of the big issues we have right now is we have problems recruiting young men and women into the military, and it's mostly because they're confused. We don't have back even in the days of Vietnam, which were not considered to be the glory days of veterans. There was a general awareness in the community of what was going on. That doesn't exist anymore. Right. They don't hear anything. So the marathon was recognized by some of the people we call the civilian assistant to the Secretary of the Army as being a primary recruiting tool because they see young people in the military. By the way, all of our military, all of our veterans can come in at half price.
That's right.
Because that's who we're here to support. But they see this in the marathon, and they'll have more people that will respond for this sharp young soldier, be it man or woman, who's standing there in a uniform that they're proud of, can tell them what America is about, and we need people like that. The marathon helps to bring those kind of people together.
Really does. And with the new Ghost Runners, the memories of those great people who came and have gone are there. I want you to read that. Yes, sir. We have a poem that was written by, you told me a 14-year-old boy?
A 14-year-old boy in Canada named Josh Dyer.
Okay, so a 14-year-old boy wrote this poem, and it's a very good tribute to those who have served. I can't put it any other way, but I hope everybody will get a chance to read this poem. It is on the Ghost Runners brochure that Richard has out in numerous locations. All you got to do is turn the page over and you can read this poem yourself. But I tell you what, it's very touching. So, Richard, if you would do us the honor of reading that poem back, I would appreciate it.
Well, you sound better on the radio, but I'll do it anyway, Stan. This young man, Josh Dyer, lives in Canada, and they don't have what we call Memorial Day. They call it a different day. But on this day of remembrance, they tasked this young man and his class that you got 45 minutes to write a patriotic poem. And Josh wrote this in 45 minutes. It's called 1,000 Men Are Walking. 1,000 men are walking side by side, singing songs from home, the Spirit as their guide. 1,000 men are walking. They walk toward the light, my Lord. They walk toward the sun. They smoke and laugh and smile together, no foes to outrun. These men live on forever in the hearts of those they saved. A nation truly grateful for the path of peace they paved. They march as friends and comrades, but they do not march to war. Steps closer to salvation, a tranquil, steady core. The meadows lit with golden beams, a beacon for the brave. The emerald grass untrampled, a reward for what they gave. They dream of those left behind and they know they dream of them. Forever in those poppy fields, there walks 1,000 men. I think it's a beautiful sentiment.
That's amazing. A 14-year-old
Yeah.
has that kind of imagery and can put it into words that well. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was impressed by it. It also motivated this whole Ghost Runner concept because, as I said before, the veterans that went on before, all the way back to the Revolutionary War, are the reason that we are here today.
Absolutely.
So we have these set up in several locations. I'm going to call them signing locations.
Okay, that's fine.
And currently we have them set up at the Salem News,
Okay.
BIP Realty, Riverways Insurance, Regine's Kitchen, Southside Furniture, American Legion Post 99, Wells Packaging, Rid Runner Pump, B&B Motors, C&E Auto, and Chamber of Commerce.
And here.
And KSMO. Thank you so kindly for doing that too, Stan. So
And
you
here.
can go to any one of these locations and pick up one of these forms, and you can fill out the information and mail it in to the post office, or you can pay the $20 directly to the merchant, and the merchant will take care of the resource and give it back to us, and we'll receive it gratefully. So that's kind of the long and the short of the Ghost Runners. Stan, is there something I left out, do you think?
No, I think it's just if somebody's had somebody that's passed on that served, this is a great way to honor them. And I know I talked to Richard about this with my father and my uncle who both served, and we'll be doing Ghost Runners because they are there. They're there in spirit. They are true Ghost Runners with these men and women who are running this marathon. They're there to try and even protect them from anything that can happen to them. So, I truly believe that when these kind of things come up, we can't forget. So many people put aside, oh, that was 100 years ago. That was 200 years ago. Well, we wouldn't be here today had it not been for what the great veterans have done to save our freedoms. And we really need to thank them in one way or another. This is a great way to do it. Some people, like that young man, made a fantastic poem. I'm sure someone in his family served.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
He wouldn't have been motivated
Right.
to do that
He
if it were
had to
not true.
Right. He had to understand that. So this is another way that if you don't understand, maybe you can't write a poem like that young man did. That would be pretty tough to beat. But you can support the Ghost Runners, and you're going to help veterans today by remembering the veterans from yesterday. And it continues to help those veterans who have already served. Richard, like yourself, we have great veterans at VFW and our American Legion. Not to say that the ones in Phelps and Pulaski counties aren't great veterans. They are. Every one of our veterans are fantastic. Help them out. This is a great way to do it. A lot of these people, they're still traumatized. And we need to understand that there is people there for support. Ghost Runners is a great way to help support. It's not much money. It's $20. If you can afford it, it's a fantastic way to thank that person in your family, or maybe a relative, or maybe even a lover, or family member from somebody else's family that you want to honor because they did such great work. Doesn't matter. They're still Ghost Runners.
It's a wonderful thing to do to honor your veterans that have passed on in your family. And like you said, they might not be from your family. Now, we have to cut this off on October the 15th.
Okay?
Because we want to hold to our commitment to have these Ghost Runners names published
Sure.
in our race brochure. We have a race brochure that is second to none.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Highly professionally published, manages. Our race director, Marilyn Schweitzer, is an enigma of energy. She is everywhere at one time. We've got a finance officer that you couldn't ask for a better. We call her Old Tightwad. She has a real deep sense of responsibility that we be good stewards of these funds and then transfer these funds to veterans that need them. So on behalf of the marathon itself, in proper, on behalf of the Ghost Runners Brigade, We want to find a way to connect the community. We believe this is it, and we would appreciate any support that we get. And if I could I read the list of the places
Sure.
one more?
Absolutely, Richard.
These are signing locations, and then when you walk in, you'll see a sign that says "Honor Your Veteran" here, and there'll be a clipboard below it. Again, Salem News, VIP Realty, Riverways Insurance, Regine's Kitchen, Southside Furniture, American Legion Post 99, Wells Packaging, Ridge Runner Pump, B&B Motor, C&E Auto, Chamber of Commerce, and KSMO Radio.
Right here in the front.
Thank you very much.
Now, not only about this, but also if you're interested in the Heroes Marathon itself, you can go online to Heroes Marathon 2024 and all the information you need to pick out the type of race you might want to run: marathon, half marathon, relay, the 5K, or just take the Heroes Walk.
Aren't you going to sign up? We got a new division called the Ruck Division, RUCK.
I didn't know that.
And it means that you want to do the marathon, but you want to have a backpack.
Oh, yeah.
And you want it to weigh 10 or 20 pounds.
If you want to feel what it's like to carry that around for 27 miles.
Some of us overweight already understand that,
Yeah.
but in a marathon environment to ruck, I mean, you got to buck it up and be hardcore. So if there's any of y'all out there that are still hardcore and think you are, come and get in our ruck division. We'll see where your medal is.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But the divisions are there. You can sign up now, and the virtual, you can sign up for virtual right now as well if you already know you're not going to be around. I don't remember the date this year, Richard.
For the pasta meal will be on the 15th of November.
So the 16th will be the day.
And the 16th is race day, which fortunately is opening day deer season as well. It's a lovely thing because we have a wonderful volunteer that sets up at the halfway course, and each year he has a PA system set up, and at Old Dark 30 he plays the national anthem.
There you go.
As you might expect, and it's heard for miles in each direction. He's a great volunteer.
Well, and we have to thank all those volunteers that do set up providing water and first aid if needed on the way through. And there's a lot of different stands for people as they do the marathon. It's a long way to go, but Richard, like you said, it takes the team to make the marathon happen too.
Yes, and those water teams, those water stations, those are so important because not only did they see the positive energy of the people at the water stations, but there's somebody there with their arm outstretched with refreshment, so these runners don't have to interrupt or even break their stride. They can run by, grab a bottle, and if they want to, slug it and throw it away. Somebody will pick it up.
Somebody will pick it up, absolutely.
We're all about the runners, and the runners, that's what they say every year. And then we have a big get-together inside the Lions Club Park there in their building. Lots of pictures are taken. Everybody gets their medals. It's a wonderful event. Even if you aren't going to the marathon, come over and look at this sometime.
Right. Now, one thing that we do always want to remind people is if possible, get out and support those runners. They love to be cheered on. They love to hear people just constantly tell them to go, go, go. You know, the support that they get, that just makes it even that much more worth their time to dedicate back to the veterans.
I want to say something else, Stan, about our sponsors. We have wonderful sponsors, and our sponsors are so loyal. So a couple years ago, our state representative, Ron Copeland, said, I have a few signs I'd like to use if we want to use them on our raceway. Well, they come up with 100 signs. And we thought, hey, this is a great opportunity for businesses in the area. Mm-hmm. So many of our businesses now are sponsoring and promoting the marathon by advertising. And this advertising is done with these flags. So when you come in for the advertisement portion of it, our flag sales are done in units of 10.
Okay.
So 10 flags, $30 each, $300. You've got 10 flags between here and Rolla with your company logo on the sign below the flag. That's great advertisement. Everybody
It
looks
sure
at that.
is. It sure
And the
is.
people that do that, they love to see their signs out on the raceway. So after that first year, guess what we had to do, Stan?
Had to probably limit it a little bit.
We had to get some more
Yeah,
some more flags and some more
Yeah,
signs.
yeah.
And,
I mean,
so
either that or you have to cut off so many because you have so many flags. I would think that that'd be a great thing for any sponsor.
it's an awesome thing, and a lot of our local businesses do sponsor the flags. But if on race day, if you need to go to Raleigh for anything, try to go early and see how beautiful it is to see this beautiful lady that's our national flag
Right.
flying on race day and people running, caring about that flag, caring about the veterans and caring about America, because that's what the American volunteers and the racers that come together to do this, that's what it's all about.
And we really need to thank everybody. Richard talks about the flags and the signs and everything out there. They have to go out there, 1 o'clock in the morning and start putting those signs in on the highway. And then they get them all done because at 6:30 in the morning, you're ready to run. They have to be back in Salem for the beginning of the marathon. So there's a lot of work that goes into this marathon by so many different people. Big thank you goes to every single one. You can't do it. If somebody misses, it's not the full race. You're going to miss out. And I don't think to this day I've ever seen anybody miss. So we've had everything go just, I won't say everything was perfect. Like you mentioned, you got a little bit tight on buses at times. You find out as you do it that where you might be a little short here, short here. That's why I talk about issues. You're going to correct that, and that's not going to happen next year. We're going to be ready just in case. And that's what the Heroes Marathon has done. It has evolved over the years and has gotten better and bigger, and we hope you can be a part of it. If the Ghost Runners program isn't for you, maybe you can be a part of the virtual team that's running, or maybe you want to run it itself.
Or go ruck.
Or you know what? Or you can be a sponsor. If you say, I didn't have anybody in my family that was a veteran, but I'd still like to help sponsor this. It sounds like a fantastic event, and it is a fantastic event. You can find out about sponsorships on the Heroes Marathon 2024 webpage. It tells you just exactly what to do. Or, Richard, if they want to volunteer.
If they want to volunteer, please call me directly at 573-729-1394. Now, in that regard, Mr. Copeland has expressed that he would love to have somebody to help him. I think getting up that early in the morning, he's diligent. There's a faithful servant right there.
Right.
But he does need help. And we put out the cones and the flags and the signs, and all this happens before daylight.
And the tables for the water.
Yeah, and the water. All this happens before daylight. It's incredible. Get up on the
15th.
15th, the 16th,
Well, yeah.
and take a drive to Raleigh early, and it's amazing. You'll love to see it.
It's a lot of activity going on that road. There's no doubt about it. And one of the nice thing is the Missouri State Highway Patrol then starts that marathon, making sure everybody's safe.
Oh well, we have our local county sheriff,
Right, them too.
Bob Wells. Not only is he a member on the committee, but he's in charge of our safety program.
Right.
So he's there for two reasons. He and Marilyn, should there be something happen like a national emergency or it all of a sudden it started hailing 2 pounds, they call the race. They're the only people that can call the race. Is the county sheriff and our race director, Marilyn Schweitzer. So, number one, we're about safety. That's got to be our utmost concern. So we're very well equipped in that regard, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yes, very good. And like I said, it is a very well-oiled machine, the 2024 Heroes Marathon, and with the new addition this year of the Ghost Runners. And again, Richard, one more time on those locations that people can pick up the sponsorship form to sponsor a Ghost Runner. Again, suggested contributions $20. It's $20 well worth your time, because this veteran's going to get the recognition at the Heroes Marathon that they deserve. I think it's a fantastic new addition to the marathon this year. I really do.
Thank you, Stan. We hope it's going to be successful, and And the donation is recommended at $20. I've had some people say, "Is that what all?" Yes, you can do whatever you like.
Right.
Or if you choose not, maybe you don't have veterans and you want to help the marathon, you can just give a donation to the marathon.
Sure.
And if you don't have an internet, I just gave you a phone number. You can call me and I can help you with that. Once again, the locations: KSMO Radio, Salem News, VIP Realty, Riverways Insurance, Regine's Kitchen, Southside Furniture, American Legion, Wells Packaging, Ridge Runners Pump, B&B Motors, C&E Auto, and Chamber of Commerce.
Sir, I want to thank you for your time and coming in and helping with the Ghost Runners program and the Heroes Marathon and everything that goes with it. There is a bunch that goes with it, and I know you're very a key ingredient and part of that. And I know you're a driving force because I've known you for a long time.
Actually, I'm the guy that gets to do all the stuff nobody wants to do.
But
But I'm honored at it.
But you know what? But you do it. You don't say a word. You go and you give 110%. Like you have with everything you've done, as far as I remember. I can't ever remember you not giving 110%.
Well, you're too gracious. I owe everything to my veterans and to my country that's been so good to me.
And our good Lord has really come through with the Heroes Veterans and getting all these different people who I don't know how some of them even know it's around. Now, like you said, 29 states, I believe, was the last year. And I know somebody came in from Canada, and I think somebody came in from Sweden.
We've had people come from as far away as New Zealand because the runner community is a different community than we can imagine. They have people like snooping to see what kind of new things are happening, what they're going on. Being the biggest thing south of I-44 is no easy thing, and we're not getting prideful about that. We're thankful about that.
Absolutely.
So we just want to keep doing what we do the best we can. And thank you so much for letting me come on this morning.
Thank you, Richard LeBrash from the Heroes Marathon 2024. We appreciate you, sir, and all the great work that you do. Stick around. We got AP News coming up, statewide news on Missouri Net, and civic happenings all here on KSMO Radio. Keep it right here on your hometown radio station.
Playing your favorites.